Mark Twain Selected Works. A Cat Tale, Part 2. You cannot express the passion of joy with a short tale, nor even ordinary excitement. You notice that Cattaraugus is brilliantly excited. Now, nearly all of that verve, spirit, elan, is owing to his tale. Yet if I had been false to art to be true to nature, you would see there nothing but a poor little stiff and emotionless stump on that cat that would have cast a coldness over the whole scene. Yet Cattaraugus was a Manx like his mother, and had hardly any more tail than a rabbit. Yes, in art, the office of the tale is to express feeling. So, if you wish to portray a cat in repose, you will always succeed better by leaving out the tail. Now, here is a striking illustration of the very truth which I am trying to impress upon you. I propose to draw a cat recumbent and in repose, but just as I had finished the front end of her, she got up and began to gaze passionately at a bird and wriggle her tail in a most expressively wistful way. I had to finish her with that end standing and the other end lying. It greatly injures the picture, for you see it confuses two passions together. The passion of standing up and the passion of lying down. These are incompatible, and they convey a bad effect to the picture by rendering it unrestful to the eye. In my opinion, a cat in a picture ought to be doing one thing or the other, lying down or standing up, but not both. I ought to have laid this one down again and put a brick or something on her, but I did not think of it at the time. Let us now separate these conflicting passions in this cat, so that you can see each by itself and the more easily study it. Lay your hand on the picture to where I have made those dots, and cover the rear half of it from sight. Now you observe how reposeful the front end is. Very well. Now lay your hand on the front end and cover it from sight. Do you observe the eager wriggle in that tail? It is a wriggle which only the presence of a bird can inspire. Susie: You must know a wonderful deal, Papa. I have that reputation in Europe, but here the best minds think I am superficial. However, I am content. I make no defense. My pictures show what I am. Susie: Papa, I should think you would take pupils. No, I have no desire for riches. Honest poverty and a conscience torpid through virtuous inaction are more to me than corner lots and praise. But to resume. The morning song being over, Catasauqua told Catiline and Cattaraugus to fetch their little books, and she would teach them how to spell. Both children: Why, Papa, do cats have books? Yes, catechisms. Just so. Facts are stubborn things. After lesson, Catasauqua gave Catiline and Cattaraugus some rushes so that they could earn a little circus money by building cats' cradles, and at the same time amuse themselves and not miss her. Then she went to the kitchen and dining room to inspect the preparations for the banquet. The moment her back was turned, Catiline put down his work and got out his cat pipe for a smoke. Susie: Why, how naughty! Thou hast well spoken. It was disobedience. and this obedience is the flagship of the fleet of sin. The gentle Cattaraugus sighed and said, For shame, Catiline! How often has our dear mother told you not to do that? How can you thus disregard the commandments of the author of your being? Susie. Why, what beautiful language for such a little thing. Wasn't it, Papa? Ah, yes, indeed. That was the kind of cat he was, cultivated, you see. He had sat at the feet of Rollo's mother, and in the able Franconia series, he had not failed to observe how harmoniously gigantic language and a microscopic topic go together. Catiline heard his brother through and then replied with the contemptuous ejaculation, Scat! It means the same that Shakespeare means when he says, Go to. Nevertheless, Catiline's conscience was not at rest. He murmured something about where was the harm, since his mother would never know. But Cattaraugus said, sweetly but sadly, Alas, if we but do the right under restraint of authoritative observance, where then is the merit? Susie, how good he was! Monumentally so. The more we contemplate his character, the more sublime it appears. But Catiline, who was coarse and worldly, hated all lofty sentiments, and especially such as were stated in choice and lofty terms. He wished to resent this one, yet compelled himself to hold his peace. But when Cattaraugus said it over again, partly to enjoy the sound of it, but mainly for his brother's good, Catiline lost his patience and said, Oh, take a walk. Yet he still felt badly, for he knew he was doing wrong. He began to pretend he did not know it was against the rule to smoke his cat pipe. But Cattaraugus, without an utterance, lifted an accusing paw toward the wall, where, among the illuminated mottos, hung this one, No smoking. Strictly prohibited. Catiline turned pale, and murmuring in a broken voice, I am undone. Forgive me, brother, laid the fatal cat pipe aside and burst into tears. Clara, poor thing, it was cruel, wasn't it, Papa? Susie, well, but he oughtn't to have done so in the first place. Cattaraugus wasn't to blame. Clara, why, Susie, if Catiline didn't know he wasn't allowed. Susie, Catiline did know it. Cattaraugus told him so, and besides, Catiline. Clara, Cattaraugus only told Catiline that if... Susie, why, Clara, Catiline didn't need for Cattaraugus to say one single... Oh, hold on, it's all a mistake. Come to look in the dictionary, we are proceeding from false premises. The Unabridged says a cat pipe is a squeaking instrument used in playhouses to condemn plays. So, you see, it wasn't a pipe to smoke, after all. Catiline couldn't smoke it. Therefore, it follows that he was simply pretending to smoke it, to stir up his brother, that's all. Susie, but Papa, Catiline might as well smoke as stir up his brother. Clara, Susie, you don't like Catiline, and so whatever he does, it don't suit you. It ain't right, and he is only a little fella anyway. Susie, I don't approve of Catiline, but I like him well enough. I only say, Clara, what is approve? Susie, why, it's as if you did something and I said it was all right, so I think he might as well smoke as stir up his brother. Isn't it so, Papa? Looked at from a strictly mathematical point of view, I don't know, but it is a case of 6 in one and half a dozen in the other. Still, our business is mainly with the historical facts. If we only get them right, we can leave posterity to take care of the moral aspects of the matter. To resume the thread of the narrative, when Cattaraugus saw that Catiline had not been smoking at all, but had only been making believe, and this too with the avowed object of fraternal aggravation, he was deeply hurt, and by his heat was beguiled into recourse to that bitter weapon, sarcasm, saying, "The Roman Catiline would have betrayed his foe. It was left to the Catasauquian to refine upon the model and betray his friend." "Oh, a gaudy speech, and very erudite and swell," retorted Catiline derisively, "but just a little catachristic." "Susie, what is catachristic, Papa?" "Far-fetched, the dictionary says." The remark stung Cattaraugus to the quick, and he called Catiline a catapult. This infuriated Catiline beyond endurance, and he threw down the gauntlet and called Cattaraugus a catso. No cat will stand that. So at it they went. They spat and clawed and fought, until they dimmed away and finally disappeared in the flying fog of cat fur. "Clara, what is a catso, Papa?" "A base fellow, a rogue, a cheat," says the dictionary. When the weather cleared, Cattaraugus, ever ready to acknowledge a fault, whether committed by himself or another, said, "I was wrong, brother. Forgive me. A cat may err, to err is cattish, but toward even a foreigner, even a wildcat, a catacaustic remark is in ill taste. How much more so, then, when a brother is the target? Yes, Catiline, I was wrong. I deeply regret the circumstance. Here is my hand. Let us forget the dark, o'erclouded past and the bright welkin of the present, consecrating ourselves anew to its nobler lessons, and sacrificing ourselves yet again, and forever, if need be, to the thrice-armed beacon that binds them in one." "Susie, he was a splendid talker, wasn't he, Papa?" "Papa, what is catacaustic?" "Well, a catacaustic remark is a bitter, malicious remark, a well, let's look in the dictionary. That is cheaper. Oh yes, here it is. Catacaustic, noun, a caustic curve formed by reflection of light. Oh yes, that's it." "Susie, well, Papa, what does that mean?"